We're back live with you tonight here on In Focus, and thanks for staying on. The level of trust in President Cyril Ramaphosa has sunk to levels lower than those during his predecessor, former President Jacob Zuma's tenure. That's according to a survey by Afrobarometer, which attributes voter mistrust to disappointment following high expectations when he took office in 2019. For more, we are joined by political analyst Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast to give us some analysis on this. Dr. Breakfast, good evening, and thank you very much for your time and for joining us tonight. What do you make of the unpopularity of President Cyril Ramaphosa being worse than that of his predecessor, former President Zuma's era?
Well, Thabo, the question for me is, do facts speak for themselves, or do we make them speak by interpreting them? Because these findings are very much interesting. I think, first of all, it could have been good if I had gotten hold of the entire research report, just to see how the entire research process was undertaken. Because as it stands, and I'm not trying to throw cold water into the good work that has been carried out by the colleagues. But at the same time, I've been grappling with some question in terms of, how many people who participated in this study, because that informs the findings. So because of that omission, I do think that this discussion does have a gap, or it does have some limitations. Now, coming to some substantive issues surrounding President Ramaphosa, I think President Ramaphosa has made a lot of commitments that he has not honored. First of all, when he ascended to power, he said that he was going to grow the economy, but the economy has not been growing the way it should have. It has been growing by, I think, 0%. I think women and children have been on the back foot. Also, when he rose to prominence, against the background of good governance. But of late, he has been falling short on matters of answerability with regard to the Phala matter. The other issue is that, President Ramaphosa was supported by leftists within the ANC who projected him as someone who was worker-friendly. But in my opinion, it has turned out that he is business-friendly because, there have been attempts in terms of privatizing Eskom. Some people are trying to, move away from the monopoly that Eskom has at the moment. And that's why at some point, even some of the members of COSATU, they wished him away. And it's going to be interesting also what kind of a reception is going to receive tomorrow. But yeah, I don't think that he has lived up to expectations. But Thabo, having said that, it doesn't mean that I do not appreciate, in my opinion, that he's a smart politician. I think he has been able to consolidate his power. He has been able to employ strategies of political survival. No wonder, even though he's under siege, he still holds on to power. And even though it's still early days, in my opinion, it looks like he might come back for a second term. The only thing that can hold him back is this thing of Phala.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm identifying some gaps in his presidence does not mean that I don't appreciate that he's a smart politician.
Those gaps in his presidency, in his administration, are they, would you say, because of poor leadership on his part, or are they because of the precarious arrangement, even when he came in 2017, that he didn't have really an overwhelming clutch onto power within his organization, so he had to do a lot of consultation before any decisions would have been made?
Yes, Thabo, I do acknowledge that he has been embroiled into some factional battles, that he has been hamstrung by the political dynamics of the ANC. I do appreciate that point. But at the same time, I think that he tends to be carried away in public. He makes a lot of commitments that he does not honor. That's the problem. So because of that, I'm arguing that he doesn't live up to his expectations. And that is not an expression of good leadership. You know, someone once said to me that as a leader, from time to time, you come across problems which are not of your own making. But the point is not to moan and groan, but it is to make a change. So he has not made that change for the better. What we have seen of late is a change for the worse.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, Tabo, you know as well as I do that currently we've got a problem of power outage. Can we not attribute that to his leadership?
Yes, we can, certainly, because they were going to report to him, right?
Of course.
Yeah. And how much of it, though, would you say is a part of a failure of the ANC as an organization as a whole, particularly in municipalities and areas like that, which in turn he obviously as the president carries the weight?
Yeah, so the president of the ANC is the embodiment, the image of the ANC. That feeds into also, Thabo, the electoral performance of the ANC. President Ramaphosa cannot take glory when the ANC does well, but when the ANC is not doing well, he doesn't want to take responsibility. So when the ANC is dealt with a blow with regard to electoral performance, they must take full responsibility for that. Even with regard to the performance of the ANC last year at local government, the fact that the ANC got below 50%, he must take responsibility for that. So I'm trying to respond to a question in terms of whether can you not put the blame on local authorities or not. Yes, we can, but the buck stops at the president. You know, it's his team, you know, that he works with that is letting him down. But I don't think that we can exempt him from this mess, you know, precisely because some of the problems are at local government level.
Yeah. How possible is it that this once dominant party would literally crumble to a state of below 50% at the hands of Cyril Ramaphosa?
Yeah, Thabo, before I respond to that, I just want to expand on another point that I made earlier on, that the ANC also has been singled out by Judge Zondo for being at fault in terms of institutionalization of corruption. And another issue that was pointed out in one of the reports was the issue of cadre deployment. So those are some of the challenges that the ANC is faced with. I think the ANC at the Zondo Commission was also on trial. Now, my view is that the political lifespan, the political longevity of liberation movements, it tends to be affected by issues of institutionalization of corruption. The greatest advantage of the ANC is its collective memory. The ANC doesn't have a good track record of service delivery. So the ANC has not done well in terms of promoting development for the majority. No wonder it has the challenges that it has in terms of losing support, Tam.
Yeah. So there are others who believe, for example, a change of leadership, Dr. Zweli Mkhize or Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma would lead people to forget that issue that you are raising, to say now there's a new leader and all of a sudden governance would be better. I mean, is there such a thing?
No, that is being simplistic, Tabo. That is, being straightforward. I think there is more to that than meets the eye. Whoever ascends to power, it can be Dr. Mkhize, it can be Mr. Ramaphosa, it can be Dr. Zuma. That person will have to, pay back in exchange for support. And sometimes the state machinery is also used in that regard. And that escalates the conflicts within the ANC, because one of the challenges of the ANC has been what I call neo-patrimonialism, whereby the state machinery is used to dish out favors in exchange for support. And that escalates the magnitude of conflict within the ANC. So it doesn't matter who comes to power. The challenges of the ANC will always be there. Thabo, we must bear in mind that throughout history, the ANC has had ups and downs, even during the time of Oliver Tambo. That's why they had that conference in 1969 at Morogoro. Because some people were unhappy about some of the things that were happening under the stewardship of the late president of the ANC, Oliver Tambo. So challenges within the ANC are not new. But the difference between then and now is that the conflicts that have broken out within the ANC have nothing to do with the strategic direction of the ANC, but they have to do with who stands a chance to benefit the material gains.
Now, of course, there could be an outcome, as you put it, through his political maneuvering that could see him gaining a second term, or maybe not, depending on how things go in December. But if he does, what is the likelihood of that changing the fate of the ANC electorally? I mean, is it going to improve their position in 2024 in any way?
I don't think so, Thabo. But the advantage of the ANC is that, before I came into the picture, you were having a discussion with Mr. Maimane about his new political party. That poses a challenge to opposition parties, because we have a lot of opposition parties. Opposition parties are fragmented, and they don't function as a unit. They do not capture the imagination of the electorate. And that puts the ANC on good footing, because they don't function as a unit, and that weakens them, and it gives the ANC an upper hand. That's why there have been some findings, studies undertaken by some colleagues suggesting that the ANC might maybe get 50% in the upcoming general elections on the dot. 50% because opposition parties are not functioning as a unit. I think we must adopt the wait and see approach in that regard.
Without dealing with the power crisis, without dealing with the economy, I don't know what he can do about Phala Phala, because Phala Phala, for many, it looks like it is almost written in the skies, that he will be found somewhat to have broken some laws. How does he improve his fate in terms of the popularity among South Africans at this point?
Thabo, I think the damage is done, and unfortunately, what is done cannot be undone. He has lost a lot of credibility on a number of issues, in particular with regard to the issue of power outage. I think a lot of people are sick and tired of promises. I heard that he was going to make a new announcement. I don't think that by and large people are interested in that, because there have been a lot of plans that have been unveiled that have not been implemented. So I really don't know how is he going to improve his public image. He will really need a good PR exercise to do that.
Yeah, he's been doing some of these lekgotlas, and at some point he was inspecting a little piece of tar that many people have made fun of, saying that is a PR gone bad. Has he surrounded himself with a bad team of people that are handling his public image with all these things that are seemingly not working in his favor?
Yes, Thabo. I think there are some people in his team who think that they are untouchable, who cannot get the job done. I'm not going to name names, but there are some ministers who don't perform. And some of them, they even contradict him on other serious matters of national importance. And it's like saying that they are going nowhere, because those people are crowd pullers. So some of the people that he has surrounded himself with are letting him down. I do agree with that.
Dr. Breakfast, appreciate your time. Thank you very much for
Thank
coming
you very much,
on and helping us in this conversation tonight. That is Dr. Ntsikelelo Breakfast there, giving us some analysis following this report that was issued by Afrobarometer on the popularity stakes when it comes to President Cyril Ramaphosa.